Okay, we are live. I have everything muted that needs to be muted, so I feel good about that.
Good.
So, I did have a question already posed to you, but do you have any talking points before I jump into my question? I actually had a couple things on my mind, but
I I I feel like I did early. I feel like I did earlier. Uh, No, not right now. Will blurt it out if it hits me.
okay.
So,
So my question I asked you a day ago was,
Mhm.
what's the thing that when you wake up in the morning you're like, "Oh, I am my age."
so recently it's been my skin,
Mm,
and like I feel like I'm starting to look it a little more than I did before.
okay.
I think, but I also think a part of that is whole like losing weight journey also affects your skin.
Mhm.
And I think between those two, I'm starting to be like, oh no, oh no. But also, my lower back hurts like a mug every single day.
Mhm.
But I think that's kind of always been, that has always made me feel older. And now it's, I'm here. I'm old enough to have a bad back every morning.
Yeah.
So those two things specifically, if you're talking specifically in the morning, which is so funny, those two things get me every morning.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I when I asked you that question, I had woken up with a stiff neck, but then I thought that's been
Oh
happening to
no.
me since I was a child. I've always had a bad
Right.
neck. My head's too big. Is what I'm pretty sure it is that my head's super heavy and my neck's just like barely hanging on. But what the real
Someone.
thing was is we went to the zoo on Sunday and then Monday I woke
Mhm.
up with a my knee hurts if I have too much walking the day before. And I've never
Oh,
had bad knees.
no, my knees are terrible. They sound like I'm crunching plastic every time I walk around. But here's the thing. Did I play sports that involved my knees? No, not really. And so I'm
Golf
like, I have
does.
no excuse for it. It's true. We did walk a lot, and I think cheering
And the
did affect
twisting
it
of
at
golf.
some. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I bet you could
yeah.
tear
But
something.
I also used to just move my kneecaps around as
I
for
do
fun.
remember that, and that wasn't for me. I can't do body parts that do weird stuff like that.
No, our teacher, Mrs. Ford, she would always be like, "You have to stop doing that. That's going to affect you later." And I was like, "No, it's not." And now I'm like, ouch.
Okay, but then I had
But I will
another.
say,
Oh, you go.
this isn't. I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna pretend no one ever sees or hears this. I have found a gray hair in the nethers. That
Oh,
got me.
okay.
Only one, but I was like, here, it's downhill from here. It's downhill from here.
No, that's okay.
I don't get them in my head. I
Okay.
haven't. I don't think I've ever had one. So
I
it's just the
can't
one.
tell. Like my
You're so blonde.
well, but my hair also is kind of a grayish blonde anyway, so I don't know that I've
Right.
noticed the silver hair. My mom doesn't have gray hair though. So
See,
I'm
my
hoping.
grandma. Well, I guess my mom. Mom, if you're watching this, first of all, don't.
Don't.
Second of all, um,
It's too late.
second
You
of
already
all,
talked about your pubes.
yeah. Oops, sorry. Well, when I first started shaving, she's like, "Well, just wait until you get hair down there." And I was like, we're already there." And so she already knows I have them. Anyway, but she dyes her hair, so I know. And my grandma was fully like silver. It wasn't even like, the
Mm-hmm.
difference between like someone with
Yeah.
gray hair and someone with like silver. Her hair was like silver. So I am looking forward to getting older and that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just think like either I want it to stay whatever this is, or get like silver like my grandma.
Yeah.
So I know it'll happen eventually, but that did. The thing is, it happened this week, and then you asked, and I was like, I can't
I'm in
tell
your
you right
house.
now. Like happened. Okay, sorry. What's your
Well, the other one was today is like language, the difference between us and Gen Z. And it was because one of my coworkers, she was trying to get her manager, who's millennial, he's our age, to say slay.
okay?
And that's a
Oh.
term I don't use. There's certain Gen Z slang that I feel like a grandparent if I said slay. I don't say it.
I don't say it, but when I hear it, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. If someone says slay, I'm like, yeah, slay. But it's like always like, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Like it's always, there are a few that I started ironically and then I ended up using them. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I just
no,
that was another one.
there are some those words aren't for me. They weren't made for me. They were made for
The
younger
youth.
20s and teenagers. Yes.
I did think about we talked about a bathroom a lot today, but you know how I was complaining about the women's bathroom and people not flushing? I need you to solve this for me as
Yes.
to what is happening
Okay.
potentially. So
Okay.
I sometimes, we all squat in dirty bathrooms, okay? And I'm going to be real, that toilet lid is going to be covered in pee. Like, it just is when I'm squatting. But I've gone into the bathroom multiple times this week, and there's a single drop of pee on the lid. And I want to know how that's happening from a woman. Is
Like
she
in
still...
public.
Yeah, at my work bathroom. Is she standing up and a
Now,
dribble is coming out? Is she coming out too fast? How is it one single drop?
Single drop's interesting, but have you been going to the same toilet?
No. And that, because I thought maybe backsplash
Okay.
from the water but
Yeah.
no, there's
Yeah.
toilet paper in the toilet and there's a single drop of pee on the lid. So I know they're not flushing, number one. And they're leaving a spot of pee on the toilet. And I want to know who this villain is.
First of all, who is it? Second of all, I have questions for you.
Because I'm like, I'm just imagining, I'm like,
don't-
is she standing up and there's just a single drop that she didn't get? I don't know. Is she wiping? I don't know.
But every time?
And also, because squatting over the toilet doesn't result in a single droplet. You're either splashing or your aim's impeccable. There's no in between, from experience.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I rarely squat.
Yeah, it's too hard.
I'm not a squatter.
I'd rather just catch whatever's on the
It's
toilet.
Honestly, same. Whatever's there, if it's gonna get to me based on my legs and butt cheeks, it can have me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a squatter, never have been. I have heard crazy stories about people squatting and like the way they do it. That's not for me.
It's too hard. Every time
I'm
I've
in
done it,
there.
I'm like, this is too much labor.
Yeah. Now, I think I have an old picture of this toilet that like it was at a baseball field. Small town. Like I walked in and I went, but I had to pee so bad that I was like, I have to go in here. I'll sit at a porta potty. Like I know that's probably not popular.
No, as long as
I'm a
it's not
sitter,
pee
so
on
I
the
have-
lid.
Right. No, for sure. I don't know how people get pee on lids that's not splashback or your own personal home.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go from the toilet to the shower. That's your problem. That's my problem. I don't leave pee on I don't know what I'm talking about. It's so gross to me.
It is, and
I'm
that's my
just
only...
trying to be an advocate for the people who do it at their own home. Your home's your home. Your work is not your home.
Why are you squatting at the
Please
work
don't leave pee.
toilet? It's not gross. They clean it often. The cleaners are there throughout the
Yeah.
day. You don't need to squat.
Oh yeah. No, you're fine. Hey, everyone, sit down.
Just sit down. And honestly, that's a rule for
Just sit
everyone.
down.
And that's my only complaint with gender neutral bathrooms is knowing that men are in there and peeing on the lid. Because they are. Every time I've used one, there's piss on the lid because a guy's been in there. I like when they have both the stalls and the urinals in there. Preferred.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because then if you're not an aimer, go to the urinal.
Yes.
But also I'm big on everyone sitting down.
Me too. I think, why not?
Everyone sit down. I don't really understand why do you have a place to be? Like why are we in a rush? That's why pee's everywhere.
Also, why are they not washing their hands? That's a question that I need to know. Because I
Listen.
feel like if between the two, the wipers and the non-wipers, the wipers have a blockage with toilet paper between them and touching something. You are less likely to need wash your hands, but I feel like women always wash their hands.
I always.
Oh, even home. I know
Sometimes
people
in my
say
own
at home.
but I live alone.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go prepare someone's food, but I'm just a washer. But
No.
why is it not standard? Because they're touching a body part.
It's because there's no toilet paper at the urinal.
Yeah, but why aren't they washing their hands though?
Oh, I don't know. Oh no, I had a man tell me, because I was like, why aren't you doing that? And he said, well, you have to, but I don't, because mine's external and yours is internal. And I said,
Still
that's
sweaty.
not how sweat works.
Have you ever
That's
smelled
not
one of
how-
those? You know what I mean? It gets sweaty.
But smell your hand after that.
It gets just as funky.
It does. And I
It's
was like,
trapped
how
and closed.
internal do you think we're going? Do you think I'm like I'm like up? Like, what are you talking about? How internal am
Nothing
I?
touches.
That I have to wash my hands and you don't.
There's enough of a barricade between the toilet paper. Nothing's getting touched. The toilet paper is the only thing touching. You're not scraping the sides.
Yes. I'm not using a square and
Also,
being
how
like,
deep do you think that wipes?
that's what I'm saying. It just because I'm not all internal. Talking about where do you think I'm peeing from?
That's
But that
funny.
and he said it with his whole chest.
Oh my god. Okay, those are
So
my two big
actually,
thoughts.
that is a real thing, and that's a real reason why they don't, and that's the real reason why they think we have to, which we do. Everyone should.
Everyone should.
I don't know
just in
why
general.
I'm making jokes in ways where I'm like, I do wash my hands and I don't leave pee on the toilet seat. I just need everyone to know those two things.
Whoa! I made the.
But
thing
I
go
don't-
away. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, I saw that.
That's okay. I'm blown away by
No.
that.
Bathroom etiquette is something that I don't think is talked about enough, but should be like, I'll address it right to you. Hey, why didn't you wash your hands? Also, okay, this isn't what we're talking about today, but do you have people when you're in is your my work bathroom is like you walk in and there are like 6 stalls. Is that how yours is, or is it
Yeah.
a single? Okay. Do you have people go in there and just talk to each other?
I
They're
have.
having a full meeting.
I've had people shit talking someone else that they were in there that they're like, man, there's a woman who's up on this floor and her perfume is so strong and it stinks. And like, I just was like, they don't know I'm in here. And then I was paranoid. I was like, what if it's me?
Right.
They smell me. And it's just,
They were like, oh, who was that person who just left, but it was really you entering? No, there was one where these 2 ladies were standing by the sink, which is like when you first walk in. I walked in, so they both saw me, and they stood for, I'd say, it's not a long time, but in the bathroom it is like 2-3 minutes. But here's the thing, they were talking about some wild stuff. Honestly, I think I
remember
videoed
that.
it in such a
Yes. My thing is, unless I'm out with friends and we walk to the bathroom together, I pretend I don't know the other person in the bathroom. I know everyone that sits on my floor that uses the bathroom. I'm not chit-chatting with them.
Oh, sure.
I just go in there and
No.
I act like I don't know that you're in here. I just leave. We're not going to talk. I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I just blew up that toilet.
If
You want to
I
talk to me
see-
now?
Wait, you want to talk to me while I'm literally shitting my pants? No. I will say, if I walk in and I see someone who's in my office, there's like 10 of us total. We'll be like, hey, and then we're not acknowledging that we're in the bathroom together. It's just a quick hi, and then we move on. Usually one of us is leaving.
Yeah.
And one of us is coming. That's the extent.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here and be like, what are you doing here? You want to hold hands? Those ladies, they were a yapping though.
They were going. All right. Now it's time for
were.
your stray kids. Because I think I've only shown you 2 people so far. Yeah?
2. Yes.
Okay.
And I know Felix
Yep.
is the last one I saw. And Bang Chan, is
Yep. Correct.
that right? It was
You're
the first
crushing it.
one.
Yes.
Bang,
Okay.
he's your love, and then Felix is everyone else's.
Felix is everyone's entry love. Like he's the one that people always
Got it.
know, and then they I don't want to show you that screen because I don't want you to know what my stories are. Okay. Sorry. I
Oh.
have to figure out technology.
Okay, I will
sometimes.
say there is a guy that I did fall in love with.
Okay.
He is not from Stray Kids.
Okay.
I can't tell you right now who he's with, but I saw him and I love him. I think his name is Mark.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can get a picture of Mark.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, but he was on Good Mythical Morning, which I do enjoy.
See, you know what's kind of a bummer is uh oh, I'm gonna have to unshare that. Don't look at your screen. I don't want you to
Okay,
know.
I'm not.
Okay, great. Because ATEEZ, which
I'm
is
just close.
another group I do like, they're touring and they'll be in the same city. We're gonna go see Stray Kids the next month. And I was like, well, we can't afford both,
Oh,
but their shows
well,
are freaky.
freaky?
Yeah,
Like
they're
freaky?
freaky. They're
Oh.
very, yeah.
Hold on, I need to find his
But I
name
don't
is
know if I'd
Mark.
want a freaky one for my first
I'm gonna
K-pop concert. So,
No. Okay, this is NCT Dream.
okay, I've heard of them.
I've never listened to their music, but this right here is Mark.
Oh, okay.
He's a cutie patootie and he was very funny.
See, that's,
And
yeah.
that was, I think, seeing both together was a
Yes.
really good time for me. If anyone asks me who my what's it called? What's it called? What's it called?
Bias.
Who my bias is? It's Mark from NCT Dream, but don't ask me anything about him
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I bet you could find a Facebook group where people talk, but people, I will say, no shade, girlies, K-pop fans, big weirdos. The stuff they say, watching fan calls, I don't know if you take the time to watch fan calls because, okay, so there's a thing where if you buy their records, like their, yeah, when they release or whatever, there's a chance for a fan call where you actually have a video call with them. But that's why, so people will
Okay.
go spend tons of money and just keep buying a bunch of albums so that they get a chance. They're horrible. I feel so bad for the K-pop idols. Like, one was like, okay, let's pretend you're my kitty. They did it to Felix.
No.
And so he looked like he had a tear in his eye, or they'll like say like little pickup
No.
lines when they join. Like, it makes me sick. I want to
Oh
throw
no.
up.
Honestly, that kind of reminds me of the people we don't like that were
I know.
in it was another podcast and we all got to be on a Zoom call and it was the first one and the hosts hadn't muted everyone and
Oh, that's so
so
bad.
all of a sudden people were talking over everybody and unmuting themselves so that they can talk and it was a weird vibe and that what you just said took me back and
We don't like
I
fan
hate that for
behavior,
them.
is what I think it
I
is.
really don't.
Because I like reading people's
I
comments.
agree.
I'm just
Also, hi,
like,
Maximum.
oh, hello, welcome in. Okay, you're in just in time for our Stray Kids. I have no information I give you. So this is Hunjin.
Okay.
Hunjin is
Okay,
a
I love
dancer.
him.
And I'm going to tell you this right
Looks
now.
like a dancer.
Problematic. There is something about Hunjin I don't like. I think I told you
Okay.
that when you got me the little Stray Kids mystery box. I was like, I don't know what it
Yes.
is about Hunjin. I think it's the same thing as Lisa from Blackpink, where sometimes he gives the vibe that he thinks he's too good to be there.
I could see it.
He's very like, I'm an artiste and I'm above this. And I could be completely wrong.
He's
I
like a
projected
solo
this.
person. Got it. Like solo person who has to be in a group together.
Yeah, it seems like he might be too cool to be there. And I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. He just gives me that vibe and I've not liked him. He's like one of my least favorites.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
Hunjin.
Hunjin.
So far
And he's the dancer.
Yep, besides the first one, the rest are up for grabs for your bias. So,
Okay. I'm going to be honest right now. I'm at a Felix.
And he's a good and I don't want to say, because people have hurt his feelings where they've told him, you were my initial bias and then I chose someone else, and people say that to him all the time and I feel horrible because that's what I did, but he's just
No.
like the face of it. As if he cares. He's actually on the stream watching us.
Death metal bands now. What are we talking about?
Well,
Maximum asked, can we do death metal bands now?
Oh, that's what I was going to do before the stream started. I forgot. I meant to get the chat to show up on our screen. I forgot how to do that after my computer died. the death of
It's okay. Well,
2025. Figure it out one day.
R.I.P.
But we're doing this history lesson because we're going to be going to the concert. So that
Yes.
one chick is going with me, and so I'm telling her who's who.
Yes.
In our
Because I
segment
know you
called
love them.
Who's that stray kid? You know?
Who's that stray kid? I think we should keep that even if we do other people.
Who's that
Who's the
stray kid?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that we've got all of our talking points and we've been going for I don't
Now
know
that
how
we're
long.
30 minutes in.
Welcome to Oops All Opinions, episode 9.
Exciting.
Yes.
You want me to go? You want to go?
Yes. You go.
I am that one chick that is relaxed or that is relaxed.
It doesn't matter.
It depends on if you're watching it live or later. This is Oops All Opinions, and if you have an opinion about us, what should they do about it?
Argue with yourself. Or
Yeah,
call
you
it
should.
your mama.
Call your mama.
Yeah.
And argue, and then tell us what she says, because we're just strangers on the internet.
And if you don't have a mama, I'm very sorry. You can probably go hire one. Go to your local library.
Actually, you can just... Honestly,
They would be your mama
local library is
regardless.
the place to get everything.
Yeah. So,
Local library, get your library card, use your library card, everyone.
yes. So our
Read
wonderful
Van Book.
audience did vote for the category of
Yes.
neighbors with the astounding
Exciting.
one vote.
Listen. Listen.
I'm not going to say who voted.
The other person who votes got busy.
The other person who votes was busy peeing on the toilet lids.
Stop. I don't know why I was defending that so hard.
I'm convinced it's you now.
I've never left anything on my toilet seat.
Someone's peeing on the toilet lid. So, if you want to be a part of the voting, then you need to go to Spotify and you can vote weekly. Because right now it's just me casting votes, and that's starting to feel like a dictatorship, and I don't want to do that. So, Maximum said, what? I can't even go back. I know,
Wait,
that's
was
why I read it that way.
What?
Might have been.
Oh. Listen.
And yes.
No, not you. Sorry. I thought they were asking what we were talking about with pee on the toilet seat, and I'm just gonna let you know you came in late.
You'll have to go back on YouTube or Spotify or where other people
Spotify.
get podcasts, because now France is listening to us
France is
somewhere.
up in here.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, French listeners, I'm trying to learn. I really am.
Oh, that would be a good
little
one.
difficult.
I love how it
It
sounds.
is. I've got 3 going on for some reason, and I'm
Okay.
really enjoying all of them.
I'm still trying to learn
Spanish,
Korean. I gave
German,
up.
French.
Love that.
Which one?
Korean.
What were you? Korean's fun.
I know the
I haven't
alphabet.
learned it, but like,
I can read it. I don't know what the word means unless it's the direct like translation. Like if we go
yeah.
into like a Korean restaurant, I know what those words are saying. I can read them.
exciting. Oh, that is exciting.
Yes, magnific. Pretty good.
That is magnificent.
Perfect.
I think.
Okay.
I'm
So
not that
before
far.
we get into our stories, have you ever had a bad
Yes.
neighbor?
A bad neighbor. I'm gonna be real honest. Right now, I wouldn't say she's a bad neighbor. She's just loud and young.
Okay.
She lives directly on my walls. I live in an apartment. She's within walls. It's just loud. I think she just turned 21, 22. So
Yeah.
like she doesn't know how to park in our parking lot. She some of her friends threw up in my parking spot and took my parking spot first of all and then threw up in it on their way out. But not bad. She and I get along when I see her, but that's the closest I've gotten to like a bad neighbor. Have you had bad neighbors?
I feel like all I've had is bad neighbors except for my current neighbor, and I love them because they're only on one side and they're wonderful. They're going to be invited to the wedding
That's true.
for sure.
Really?
Love them so much. They're so sweet.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay,
I also love my other neighbor.
well,
We're friends, like genuinely friends, which is so weird.
so my bad neighbor started in my first apartment. Now, to start, the first one was bad. Definitely domestic violence. So not haha funny per se, but it was wild. They had a baby and it was a cheap apartment. I heard everything, and that baby would cry for hours, and they also would scream at each other all the time. I told my landlord, and they said, we never let the baby cry. Well, I would beg to differ. All I hear is the baby crying. So then,
well, then are you guys there all the time?
Literally.
Because if you guys aren't letting the baby cry, whoever you're leaving the baby with lets that baby cry.
And they were above me. So then they moved out, and my landlord said, hey, we're going to do a project for homeless people. Yeah, really nice idea. However, the woman who moved in had a dog who she would leave in her room for hours, and it would just scratch the door and bark. It was a beagle. But then she also would just be moving furniture. And people always make jokes that that's what it sounds. That's what she was doing. She was rearranging her house throughout the night. But then also she would fill up her bathtub instead of going to the laundromat, and would wash her clothes in the bathtub, but would overfill it. So then the ceiling leaking water from her overfilling the bathtub. So that was my first apartment.
I think I remember that one, and you told me that someone was moving furniture a lot. I do remember you saying that.
It was horrible. And then probably before we moved into this current house, the people that lived behind me, it was like duplexes. They would have parties nightly, and they would throw cigarette butts into my yard. And then there was one day that the lady's kid kept hopping my fence, which it was a 6-foot privacy fence, to get his ball. And I said, hey, let's not do that, because I don't want him falling and getting hurt on my property. And she's like, well, he just can't control where the ball goes. What would be better? And I said, have him come to my door. I'll go get the ball.
Yeah.
I don't want him to get hurt on my fence, and then me owe you money.
Right.
Insane. But these current neighbors, aside from the million children that live across the street from me, that's fine. They'll grow up. But yeah, I've had a lot of bad neighbors.
It sounds like it. Mine haven't been like memorably bad, as far as I can remember.
Mine have, yeah.
I did have one that we had to share a driveway.
Oh, okay.
For some reason. And whenever people would come, they would park, like, anyone of her family would come, they would park behind my car. I was just kind of stuck.
I don't like that.
But it didn't happen all the time, and I'm just really scraping the bottom of the I don't really have.
I guess too, with the people that live behind me that were so awful. You remember this? The neighbors then next to me in the same house were definitely swingers. Yes.
And wanted you to come over.
They all the time. And then I felt trapped in my home.
That's true. Well, then you had the other neighbor that was friend turned not friend.
Yeah, that was a bad neighborhood time for me, actually. So, yeah.
So anyway, are these your stories? Are these?
I wrote all of these. I actually had a very hard time finding asshole ones, to be honest.
Me too. So what I did, I got a couple from Am I the Asshole? And then I went to True Off My Chest. Have you? So it's just like people confessing things that they've done as a neighbor, etc.
Okay.
So I did do that because I also was having a terrible time finding assholes.
Crazy. So I did find...
It was weird.
I know for sure 2 of the answers on one. I have one that doesn't say. It just says it's an update post, so I don't know what the overall vote on one of mine is. So that'll be fun. We can decide.
Okay. Yes.
And since it's an odd, it's me.
Yes.
So what do I want to do? Okay. I'm going to do this one first. Am I the asshole for spending a lot of time in my yard, making my neighbors feel like they have less privacy? To jump in, you almost picked that one?
I did. I didn't pick it, but I almost did.
See, my initial thought was at the old neighborhood with the people behind me. The way the houses were set up, even though I had a 6-foot privacy fence, the dude was elevated. He would wave at me. And I just was like, we have to agree that if I'm in my yard, you don't see me.
You don't see me.
Pretend you
I have
don't
a
see me.
6-foot fence. You're not supposed to see me.
My neighbors do this. I hate it. I also hate it, Maximum. So I'm
Oh.
going to be biased in this story because I hate when people are just constantly outside
Okay.
and I don't feel like I can go outside. So I wrote this
Okay.
one. Okay.
Notice from your neighbor's point of view.
My friend Julia and I are renting a row house, a small city house with neighbors, houses adjoining it on either side. Right after moving in, it seemed like the next door neighbors on either side already didn't like it because we are renters and they don't like that the homeowner is renting the place out. We hadn't known about that before we moved in. Anyway, one of the reasons we really loved the house was that it has a nice fenced in backyard. We're really outdoorsy people, so having our little yard in the city was a dream come true. We've got a grill back there, an outdoor dining table, a fire pit, a bunch of string lights, hammocks, a projector that we can point at the back of the house for movie nights, a reading nook, some potted plants we care for, an outdoor heat lamp, etc. Damn, they rich. Okay.
Okay, rich.
Yeah, humble brag, no big deal.
Yeah, okay.
We hang out there a lot and have friends and our boyfriends over often. Julia is polyamorous and has 2 boyfriends who are both bi and involved with each other also. Parentheses. I don't know how she does it. It seems like a lot to balance, but they all seem happy and they're making it work, so I don't judge. End parentheses.
I
Good
love
for you.
pop off. I love that. Good for you.
Anyway, I like that she says anyway instead of anyways.
Anyway, I think I might say anyway.
I think it. I always say anyways. I don't know. It's correct.
I'm
Who am I
afraid
to
I
judge?
don't know. I don't know which one I say.
Most of the time we're at home hanging out together or having people over, we're outside. The house is small and kind of old and windowless and drab, so hanging out outside is so much nicer. We grill, read books, chill by the fire, hang out with our friends, paint, etc. out there. And one of my neighbors told us off for
girl.
always being out in the backyard. It ruins their chance to enjoy their own backyard with some privacy once in a while. He also seemed to be kind of homophobic, saying he didn't want his kids seeing the guys Julia had over doing their thing outside, which I assume was just stuff like cuddling or being affectionate because they never do anything inappropriate out there. Another of our neighbors asked kind of pointedly if there was something wrong with our kitchen. Why are we always cooking and eating outside? They want to leave their kids out to play without them overhearing adult topics. I had said I'd be considerate of what I said when I was outside, but as far as I know, my friends and I don't talk about anything inappropriate loud enough to be overheard from their yard. She also said something about not liking how many people who nobody in the neighborhood knows coming and going and having straight line of sight into her backyard every day. I said, no need to be a stranger. Come by and you can meet my friends if you like. But she hasn't taken me up on it. Am I the asshole / are we the assholes for spending all of our time at home out in the backyard?
No.
Yeah.
No. They're not doing anything weird. They're enjoying their time. And they bought all that shit to go be outside. You better be outside. I don't think that's weird.
Yeah, that seems like, you know, with the swingers next to me, they were always outside, and I felt uncomfortable because I didn't want to be invited over. But that was a me problem, and I wouldn't hold that on to them.
But also, they're not saying, like, and we invited everyone and we're just going to be out there all the time because, like, it just seems like that's their go-to spot. And I don't think that's... They pay to have the backyard.
And like... I don't know. This one's kind of hard because I'm like, how loud are they being? Like, are they talking about inappropriate stuff? Old? Like, they didn't say.
How old? Okay.
I assume young.
Yeah.
Based on how she
if
was
they were
messaging.
30s, upper 20s, 30s, you're probably fine. You're probably just hanging out. If you're 22, y'all are loud and you don't know. Y'all are being annoying and you don't know.
And I guess the thing is too is one thing I didn't think about is because I was like scrolling through the comments. It's a row house, and so everything's super close. So it's not like a standard house where you have that space. You're gonna be so I'm sure it is a little disruptive because they hear everything, and I imagine you can probably hear them inside your house too.
But you're gonna hear them inside their house.
Probably not as much.
If they're inside, yeah.
I don't know. This one's hard.
If it was a small space, I think I go outside. Sometimes I'm just sitting outside in my chairs and I'm like, are people mad that I'm sitting in my chairs? And I'm like, I'd pay for these
Yeah.
chairs.
It's, I don't know. I feel like I'm conflicted because on one hand, I want to be like, no, they're not the assholes. They're allowed to be out here. But also, I feel like if I was a neighbor, I'd probably get like, they're out here again. I don't really want to be out here. Because especially like if you're going out with
Yeah.
you're like going out to read and then there's just people, but I don't know. So this long comment,
Yeah.
so this person said, I kind of think you're the asshole. Also, overall vote, not the asshole. But this person said, I kind of think you're the asshole. I'm going to get downvoted, but hear me out. Of course, you're allowed to use your own backyard, but because everything is so close, I get why they're upset. Like when I lived in a row house, I didn't really feel comfortable speaking freely with my friends when other people are outside because, well, that's pretty obvious. It's just a different vibe when you have to worry about people you don't really know being within earshot. Sure, it's expected that at some point you'll have to be around someone random, but you guys make it so it's always that way. It sounds like you're basically living outside, and I understand why it would be annoying to feel like you can't be in your backyard saying whatever you please without considering 5 people constantly watching movies and cooking outside. To me, this is like sharing a living room and your roommates always have guests over. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it changes the atmosphere and it affects how you move through your space. Or someone who uses the break room at work to play board games with their work friends every day. Sure, that's fun. But some people would also like to have quiet time in the space they're allowed to without you being there every second. Just one day can you read a book in the empty break room without the white noise of someone else being in there. Yeah, you have the right to the backyard you pay for. But you're being inconsiderate of how others want to use their backyard they pay for because they literally never get to be out there without your sights, smells, sounds. Maybe you think you're being quiet, but just you being present outside constantly changes things. If you're literally always out there, no one can ever be outside without you also being there. And someone said, I just want to add that. Oh, sorry.
No, that is true. It's the consideration.
Yes. Yeah.
For others. I've changed my mind. I don't think this whole. It's like, come on.
It's not like you're inherently the asshole, but you're not considerate. Because someone said outdoor movie night seems like a bit much because that has to be loud. Also, constantly grilling, which means their neighbors have to put up with the smell, forget hanging laundry outside or opening the windows or breathing, blah, blah, blah.
I think that if you want to do a movie night once a week, I could put up with someone doing a movie night once a week or cooking out sometimes.
And then
I think there's a fine line, but I do think that it sounds like they're constantly out there, and
that's where I'm kind of at too.
But if they're like,
go ahead.
If it's like every Thursday night we're throwing a party, then neighbors will just know, hey, Thursday night there's going to be a party. Because then that's consistent in on this night something's going to happen, but the other nights might not. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. Another point though, kind
also
of
Maximum. Maximum said first nuisance neighbors, and I'm not sure if they're talking about the OP or the others. And then they said my driveway and my neighbor's driveway are side by side. They have company over all the time and always hang out in their driveway rather than their private backyard. I hate it. So inconsiderate.
That's annoying.
Using a driveway that's shared, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's insane. I would just have my car in the way. I'd put it in the middle of the driveway. Well, because someone said that they have people over basically every single day. They said they don't put it like this, but they make it sound like a lot less. But once you add it up, it comes to hours at a time, up to 11 p.m. weekdays, 1 a.m. weekends. So, I mean, and the one person that was like, I don't like that you have strangers over constantly, like different, like I kind of get that, especially if you had kids. I don't know. I feel like I'd feel a little weird if it was like someone new constantly being able to see into their house. You don't know people.
Also, you're living in a space that's connected to other people.
Right.
That's just how some people I can't control the people who come over to my building. That just is what it is. I don't agree with that one. But I do think that it's the consideration of others that is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's inherently bad, but I agree that they should be considerate.
Yeah. Yeah, these are back and forth because someone's like, you're the asshole a bit. No one constantly wants to be smelling your food, seeing Julia make out, smelling the smoke from your grill, listening to you talking, listening to and watching your movies. You have near neighbors. If you were on half an acre or more, it'd be different because you're this close to neighbors. Consideration needs to be given. It would make me insane if you were constantly out there, especially as renters. And someone said, I have a neighbor behind me, so our backyards face each other. The lady sits there quietly doing needlepoint most days. 14 hours of her sitting there doing needlepoint. Is she loud? No. Does she do anything inappropriate? No. But it weirds me out, and I do feel weird taking my dogs out back to play when she's out there. Not the asshole. I understand both sides. So I would leave this on, you kind of suck. You're not doing anything inherently wrong, but you do kind of suck, and you're not considering others.
Yeah, I think especially since the neighbors have said it.
Yeah, multiple
Right?
neighbors, both sides have said something
I
to
think
them.
since the neighbors have said it, I don't know, because a part of me is like, do whatever you want. Like, you're not, I don't know. But the other part of me thinks that the neighbors are just being assholes too, and being like, these renters over here are bringing people over, and they're swinging in the backyard, and I don't think that's right either. So I'm conflicted. I think that they should be more considerate. I will say that. I think they should be more considerate of it.
Yeah.
But let people cook outside. What are we talking about? Cook outside.
Every day, that would get old. That smell, kind of like what people said, like it, because we had a neighbor who had a fire pit. It stinks, and the smell of fire and smoke in your house, not great. And also, people who have asthma or breathing problems, that's going to affect them. They can't, like, that smokiness is not good for them, and it's going to make it hard to breathe. So a fire pit or grill of smoke every single night, that smell does not go away. Honestly, I'm on the side of they're the asshole. I've changed my mind. I land on they're the asshole. They're not doing anything wrong.
I honestly don't think they are. Maximum said I'd hire a mariachi band for 2 solid weeks. So
it's not that they're doing anything wrong.
Maximum.
It's just every single day I wouldn't like that. And I wouldn't, like, I get, yes, you're in a small space, but like if someone was constantly outside, I wouldn't want to be outside. I wouldn't want to go play with my dog. I wouldn't want to. And like, it sounds like it's late at night too. It's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Because I guess
at
they
some
have
point,
comments.
It is just like, go back inside. But also you can't be like, don't be out here.
Yeah.
I don't think you could tell someone to not be out in their backyard. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think they're totally assholes. I think they need to hear what people are saying and do something with it.
Because they also, I guess, I can't find any of the comments, but they were saying OP's comments, like, to other things lead a different story about how often, how late it's going to be. And then I know that they said that they think the neighbor's homophobic, but they don't say why they think that. Because, like, they're within their right to do stuff, but should people be making out in their backyard when they know they have a ton of people? Probably not. It probably, you know.
Why not?
You're
not a public display of affection, girl. I'm not either, but if I'm in my own backyard, I'll make out with everyone.
But when you're that close to people, I don't think it's right.
Sure.
I mean, I just don't think if you know that people can see you constantly, you shouldn't be getting handsy and making out with people, because I guess that's one of the things that people are saying, that it kind of sounds like the polyamorous group were handsier in their backyard. And I don't think that's appropriate to force people to watch that when you know you're in close proximity. It's a consent issue at that point then.
Making out, I don't think is a consent issue. I think that if people are trying to get down back in the backyard, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you're just kissing in your backyard, I think you're fine.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's your backyard.
But I'm
You're
not
about to get married in your backyard.
But
you're gonna kiss in your backyard.
It's gonna be a peck in my backyard. But also the proximity of it is
your tongue's not gonna be down their throat.
But the proximity. I have a good sized backyard that, like, we're not basically sitting on top of someone else is my thing. My neighbor is not pushed up against my house. Like, we have space between us. I think that's the part that I don't like, is that, like, yes, it's their backyard, but this isn't talking a standard house to house. This is people are squished together. They're basically
Yeah, I
touching.
think I'm imagining like my front porch. There's no hello.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw that. That was crazy. There's no fence between us, but I'm picturing that amount of space just with a
Hmm.
fence. I wouldn't have being outside all the time would get old. But if people are just like out there and they are holding hands kissing, I don't think that's weird.
Yeah.
If it was, you know how like close my neighbors are, our
Hmm.
doors are. I don't think that would
But
be
if there's kids
strange.
trying to play outside and you're just making out, I don't think that's fair to let. Like, I probably wouldn't want children to go out there and see people making out. Like anyone. I don't think that that's fair to expose them to that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's happening all the time. As someone who I don't do public displays of affection,
Hmm.
that's not for me. But it doesn't bother me when other people are. And I think that may be where you and I may differ on that. I don't care if other
Mine,
people do, I just don't like to.
I just think that you, especially if there's kids involved, I just think there's a certain thing that it's not hurting the children, but I don't know that a kid needs to people need to be making out with a kid just sitting there. I just don't think that that's normal.
I imagine the kid who hopped over your fence, just like
Yeah,
watching it. I was like, yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
yeah,
I just don't think that in my head. But I'm also imagining them like
right.
quick like a kiss during a movie, and like if
And
they're
that
like
would be
taking their
fine.
clothes off feeling each other up, then it's like, hey,
Yeah,
yeah, don't do that outside, that's crazy.
yeah,
I think we may have been picturing different, because I'm just like, oh, during a movie you turn and you're just like,
yeah. No,
oh,
that's
cute,
fine. But it sounds
that's
like
fun, that's fine.
yeah. But I think full blown making out is
Bumping uglies.
weird.
Yeah, like a makeout session, that's too much.
Right, and that's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't care if people are
Oh, okay,
pecking in their
okay,
yard. I just it sounds like they're making out, and I just think that's weird
okay.
to do in someone
Hands on
that close to
chests.
people. Yeah,
Got it.
Maximum's yeah, Maximum said, especially with the kids around. Thank
Yeah.
you. I disagree with the overall vote. I do think that person's kind of the asshole, or at least they're not meaning to be, but they have to I mean, maybe they've never lived near people, but you have to consider others.
And maybe they're young and they're just not
That's
considerate.
how I read
First,
it. That
was it
that's
me
like this
too?
is their first time
Is
living on their own.
yes, yes, me too. And you won't know until you get a neighbor like me being like, "Hey, what was that?"
Hmm.
'Cause I do that.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, do you know someone threw up in my parking space?" I did that.
Yeah.
Oh well. Um. Okay, this one based on the title. Although I can't say that. I'm doing this based on the title, but also with the pre conversation we had of I had a hard time finding assholes.
Hmm.
And by hard time, I didn't. So this one is, am I the asshole? Neighbor says I'm making them uncomfortable being around their kids.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. This is my first time posting. Sorry if I messed anything up. I, 40 male, live in a somewhat rural place. Decent land between houses and a lot of forest. In between me and my neighbor's land, there's a decent sized pond. Technically, it's all on my land, but one side of it is surrounded by neighbor land. I'm confused. Oh well.
How is it all on
There's a
your
dock on it. It's all on your land if another half is surrounded by
that
neighbor's land.
yeah, I don't he's already messing it up.
Okay.
He's messed up.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, guy. I don't know what you mean. Okay. There's a dock on it. I upgraded it about 15 years ago, so it's somewhat nice. It's right next to the property boundary, if that's important. Maybe. We don't know where the boundary is. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I don't know. I go down there somewhat often. I usually am down there for a few hours in the evening with my dog, my work computer, and sometimes a drink. My neighbors are in their late 20s, early 30s, moved in a few years ago. They have a pair of young kids, both under 10. I'd guess maybe 5 or 6 and 8 and 9. Their backyard is not far from where I'm in the evening, and neither yard is fenced in. Every few days, the kids come outside when I'm down by the pond. I ignore them, but about a week ago, my neighbor approached me and asked if I would go inside or somewhere else when their kids are outside. They said I made them feel uncomfortable letting their kids go in the backyard, and that their kids are also scared of my dog. I did not pay attention to their kids. I usually am facing away from them and never directly facing them. I do get why they would not want their kids outside alone with me nearby, as much as it sucks because this seems to have been misunderstood. I am not on any registry, nor do I have any criminal history. However, I get that they may feel uneasy about their kids being around a man and they do not know very well. My dog is always tied up when he's on the dock with me. He never barks when we're down there. Usually he naps. He is a fairly large dog, 75 to 80 pounds, but there's almost no chance he could or would hurt them. They also express concern about me drinking. I do not get anywhere near the point of being intoxicated. It's at most one drink when I do have it, and I have it maybe a couple times a month. I told them that I appreciate them reaching out to me, but I'm not going to stop. This week I kept doing it, and I got a somewhat angry letter. I'm honestly starting to doubt if I should just head inside when they come out. Am I the asshole for not listening to them, and would I be the asshole if I kept doing what I'm doing? Edit. The pond is basically inaccessible from everywhere except the dock due to plants, so there's almost no chance the kids could fall in. I wasn't worried about that. Sorry, I didn't
even cross my mind, actually.
Didn't even cross my mind.
So this one's different from the last one, and my answer is going to be different because if you have a pond between it, there's tons. The kids can go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
They don't need to be playing on the dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Not you build the fence. Neighbors build the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. Policing
you know when this guy's sitting there, maybe his
this
pond,
one
maybe
man,
your pond.
This one because here's the thing, the space and the number of people. This one single man working on his dock when there's a pond. If there's a dock, that's a pretty good sized pond between them. Them policing his activities when he's not being loud or anything. Like, again, I know it's that thing of like, oh, it's uncomfortable if someone's out here. I don't want to be out here. There sounds like there's so much room. Send your kid somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or build a fence.
Or build a little playground somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're just letting your kid. Now, I'm all for letting your kids just go outside. But right. Do those kids not have something else to do?
Why do they need to be on the dock?
Except, why do they have to? And I don't know if they're even at the dock.
Yeah.
I think they're just outside.
Yeah.
He's at the dock.
Okay. They don't need to be near
the
water.
one. He's at the dock. They're just out in their backyard. Build a fence if you're upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am 100%. I was nervous. I was nervous about that title and how it was not the asshole. but overall, it does say not the asshole. But I was a little concerned. I was like, where are we going? But no, absolutely. These people come over to a place that you've lived. You built the dock 14 years ago, and you can't go sit outside
and drink.
And drink. Go live your life. Now, there are some times where young people, us, obviously, do stuff, and I'm like, hey, could you shut the fuck up?
100%.
Like, those people had no right to go to his door and ask him to not go outside, or not just not go outside, but go inside when their kids come out.
Because
your kids are inside kids. They're iPad kids. Let them be inside.
That's my thing. If I was uncomfortable with it, I would probably be like, hey, if I think there's some pervert, I'm not going to go negotiate with the pervert. I'm just going to keep my kids away from him.
Right. Hey, I'm just not going to send my kids outside.
Or I'd be like, playing
You're
in the front
not protecting your kids by telling someone to go inside if I send my kids out. Because guess what? If he's a perv, he's not. OP's fine. He wasn't on any registry. Let me make that clear. But let's pretend he was. You're going to ask him to go inside instead of being right in front of you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, he could be.
You're going to send him inside
100% with his camera.
Yeah, binoculars out, and it's going to be weird. Instead of him sitting out there on his computer with his little drink. Also addressing some strangers drinking, crazy thing to do.
You got to side with the pervert. Thanks a lot, parents.
Come on, millennials, stop doing that. We're siding with the perv.
This poor
No,
guy too, being like, I get it. They think and I'm like,
but
I know he's 40. I keep
but
picturing
the
an
fact
old
that
man.
he's me, well, yeah, I know. Me too. I'm like my grandpa's out there. He's 40.
That's all I can. Especially him with his dog on a leash tied down on the dog. I'm
Me
like,
too.
that's an old man.
We personally know people who are over 40, and I'm like, oh yeah, this old dude out there.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh, I did too until you said that, and I had to relook. That's so funny. Um, just this dude out there, maybe he could take a drink out every single day, and I would say nothing.
Yeah.
You're in a rural place,
That
so
too.
you're gonna be like country vibes, and you're gonna tell a man he can't go sit by his pond
he
and
had
take
a
a
gun?
drink with him. He's like, well, I didn't mention the AR I took out with me.
Because, like, sure, they could say something about his drinking if he was getting drunk and, like, screaming at the children. Yeah, approach him and be like, hey,
Right.
but even
Right.
then I wouldn't be like, hey, can you not drink? Again, I would keep my kids away from him then.
I would keep my kids at
Also,
home. Yeah. Hey,
they
he's
have
like,
so
well, I
many
didn't
places.
mention that I go out with no pants on. Like
Right.
you know, like he seems chill. He just goes out after
Yeah.
dinner or with his dinner and just chills with his dog.
Yeah, no, that person's not the asshole. The weird parents, yeah, build a fence, send your kids up the road
Build
or
a
something.
fence.
You're not in a populated
Yeah.
area. They can play somewhere else. Go play in the road. They'll have a
Literally.
good time.
Literally, go play on the road. You can hear people coming. You're fine. What'd they say? 6 to 10? They're fine.
Yeah. And he's guessing, so you
Yeah,
know he's wrong.
that-
They're probably older than what he thinks. I never know kids' age.
Wrong. I'm getting better at it if I can compare if they're closely with my nieces and nephews. I can kind of figure it
okay.
out. Any other age, if you're a teenager, I have no idea how old you are. You could be 12, you could be 16. I genuinely have no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really do genuinely think that he's not the asshole, and they absolutely are.
Mm-hmm.
Those parents are terrible.
And see, look at the details where it can get us to different points for the same dispute,
know.
essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't want to do that one because I feel like that one's too close to what we've just done. So this one
Okay.
is am I the asshole for leaving a note on my neighbor's doorstep about his screaming children? This one might be me. And it does have an update. So, blah
Well-
blah blah. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I have to find. I don't know where the story begins.
Is it just an update?
It's all updates. Oh, see the original post. I got technology actually.
I love that. I'm glad you did it because I would be like, well, I guess we're gonna skip this entire story. I don't know how to get anywhere.
The post is locked and gone. However, I think this is the beginning story. Okay, it is. Sorry,
Okay.
that whole page. So we have a lot of updates too.
Totally fine.
Okay, I
Love,
have lived
by
in
the
the
way.
same apartment building for about 5 years. Throughout my time here, I've had many neighbors come and go, and I've never had any noise issues. However, last year a neighbor moved in 3 units down. He's about 40. It's that man from the pond.
The man from the pond left. He lied.
He's about 40 and has
he
3
went in
children
so often that he moved to this place.
and had 3 kids. All in the, he might have taken those
Whoa. He- oh God. The tear, I almost had tears come to my eye. I was like so excited.
They
He
were
stole
like-
the kids and moved to this apartment.
He said, "You want to
Were
complain
they
about me?"
6 and 10? I don't know.
Under the age of 4. Again, I assume that OP's a man, so they don't know.
They don't know.
Me neither. For months now, I have listened to his children scream, cry all day long, whether it be in his apartment or in the hallway. At first, I tried to ignore the behavior as I felt bad. It appeared he was newly single father and was struggling. However, as time went on, it became clear that he just straight up lets his kid behave however they want. For example, when they shriek at the top of their lungs in the hallway right outside my door, he never says, shh, let's be quiet, or anything at all. He just lets it happen without a peep. Additionally, I have come to realize the frequency and volume of the screaming, crying, shrieking is way beyond what is normal. I'd venture to say I hear anywhere from 10 to 15 full on tantrums every single day, all of which are ear piercingly loud, and like I said, he does not say or do anything about these tantrums. It's now at the point where I find myself frustrated and annoyed in my own home all the time. Right now, I'm working on a paper in my apartment, and I can't even concentrate because all I hear are his children. Because of this, I wrote a note, a polite note, and left it on his doorstep. Essentially, my note said that I sympathized with him, but the noise is out of control. I also stressed that I wanted to confront him directly first. I realize that sounds hypocritical since I left an anonymous note, rather than going straight to management. Am I the asshole for leaving this note? Should I have handled it differently?
I will say, I can empathize. That would suck. But if you can tell that this man just became a single dad, that means that these kids also just became without another parent. And they're probably going through it, and he's probably on his last leg. You know? Like, if it's recent and he doesn't... I don't know if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I wish that it was a knock on the door instead of a note on the... like, maybe he just needs... Maybe he's, like, in need of someone to talk. It's not your job to talk. It's not your job to do that. But, like, to have... I feel like he's overwhelmed, and then you put a note on his door that's like, hey, you're loud. Like, I would simply... If I didn't have 3 kids at home, that would be it for me. If I was going through it and then someone put a note on my door that was like, hey, I can tell things are going on. It's loud as fuck. You gotta stop. I'd be like, well, you know what else is loud? I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean?
I'm biased. But okay, I do agree with what you're saying. It's 3 units down, which is quite a bit of wall between the two to be able to hear everything so clearly. And he said it's been months. True. I think for OP, and I could be wrong, I think if he felt like the guy was even trying to manage the kids, I think he'd feel differently. But it sounds like the guy is kind of doing the thing that I know parents do sometimes, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, where they get so used to tuning out the noise that they don't do anything about it. And so I think OP is just kind of like, hey, if I felt like he was saying, be quiet, or if he even heard Dad scream, maybe back at them, maybe he'd feel better. I don't know, but I think he's just like, this guy's letting his kids run it and nothing's being said. So he's just like...
Yeah, but I also think that if this dad screams, he's also going to snap.
I know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I mean, you've been in a restaurant with a crying kid and the parents are acting like they don't hear it. And that honestly is like, I'd rather see you just be like, shh, do something. Because when you're ignoring
I think there's a difference. There's a difference between ignoring it and just pretending like it's normal. And then looking like you're ignoring it, but you're so overwhelmed that like you're so... This is happening all the time. I can't make my kids be quiet. I've tried it first and it's not working. I don't know what to do. I think those are 2 different things that I would like the context of. What's this guy look like when the kids are screaming? Is that, does he look like he wants to run off to Mexico alone and not like, and or is he just simply just been like, whatever, let him cry?
I don't think OP's the asshole because that would be a lot. And I don't think the single dad's the asshole. I don't think
OP's an asshole.
I think it's just kind of like...
I think those kids are little dicks. I'm just...
Oh, thank you for the follow-up. My things still don't work. Hey, it's Timothy. Thank you, though. I appreciate you. Yeah, Okay, so we have a million updates. And I get...
Oh, yeah. The whole page of updates.
The letter, I don't blame him because I don't know what I would have done, especially if he just basically was like, hey, things are really loud, as I'm sure you're aware. I don't want to go to management. So that's why I'm not telling
Mhm.
on you, because then I feel like OP's trying, because I was like, I don't know how you navigate that.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, I've stepped back since saying that the letter was, because in my head it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the letter actually says, that dad's not going to
No.
think it's kind at first. But I'm sure that OP tried genuinely to just be like, hey, I just need you to know that it's happening, and I like maybe trying to help, but also being like, we all hear it. We all
Yeah,
hear it,
because I
guys.
feel like if you would have said it in person, I just kind of feel like the dad would have been like, "Bah," you know, or just being like, of course,
Yeah.
I know it's loud. What do you want me
Yeah.
to do about it? Do you want to come in here?
Yeah.
Like, I think I don't think I would have confronted the person. Not on the brink, not with that many children.
No, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, I still, after I said that, I walked back.
let's see what the updates are. So,
Okay. I'm
after
excited.
reading the comments, I know, me too. I wonder if we'll change how we feel.
Okay.
All right. After reading the comments on my original post, I decided to remove the note before my neighbor saw it. I took what some of you said into consideration. Perhaps I just needed to be more patient. I decided if the noise issue escalated, then I'd do something. Otherwise, I would just suck it up and use headphones like some of you advised. Well, today his children shrieked 4 times within a 1 hour period in the hallway. Why are you counting? That seems so specific.
See, I think he's getting weird. Also, we're not kidding when we say that people really go through traumatic shit and then immediately get on Reddit. You took the note off before. I thought this was like last week. I put the note on the door. This as he's posting the note, he's putting it on Reddit.
Did he not knock? Did he do the UPS?
Me
like
every time.
No,
It surprises me every time when people are like, hey, this just happened a second ago. I'm shaking, but I'm going to put it on Reddit.
Insane.
Hearing that reminded me that people actually do that, and that's, I forget. I just forget that happens.
So, which also,
And
I shouldn't be
counting is
shady
weird.
because I probably do the same thing where I'd be like, oh, there's another one. There's another one. So anyways, I'm trying not to, because I'd probably, but anyways, this was right by my door, about 2 feet away from my apartment. The 4th time it happened, I opened my door and said, please don't scream in the hallway, guys. He put exclamation point, but typed it in all lowercase, so I'm not sure what tone he said. Please don't scream in the hallway, guys. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, can you not scream?
Shh. Yeah. Once I said this, he told me that his kids are allowed to scream in the hallway or anywhere else in the building that they feel like. I told him that actually, no, they're not. According to our lease, he then told me to suck it up and to contact management and to not talk to him. After a conversation, he told me all 3 of his kids, you can be as loud as you want in here. Nope. Done with the dad.
Nope.
Call management.
I'm out.
And then shot me a nasty look and proceeded to walk to the stairs. Once he said that, all 3 kids started squealing as loudly as possible. I sent management an email and they're talking to him first thing in the morning. I know some of you suggested I do this in the first place. I wish I did. Okay. How are you feeling so far? I'm not on the dad side anymore. You can be on your wit's end,
No,
but like,
that
that's
can
insane.
go suck it. That's crazy to say to your children in front of someone else who like acknowledge the fact that they were being annoying. Yeah, no, I had sympathy for the dad because at first. Now I don't. That dad can
fuck right off. Yep.
run away. But I also I'm not on the go straight to management before this happened. When he said, you guys suggested to go to management first. I'm not quite there, but now I'm happy he did.
I'm not a confrontation person. I don't want to get people in trouble. So I don't know. I feel like I'd have a hard time not going to management first because I wouldn't want them to know I'm complaining. I don't want them to come like kick down my door or something crazy. But I'm also scared people are always on the brink of being
from
nuts.
him?
Well, I think after this, he's going to know it's from him. No.
After this, definitely. But on the note, I don't think you put like,
I think the note would have been okay.
Love your neighbor 3 doors down.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, now he knows it was you.
Yeah, and he's gonna come slit your throat, actually.
Yeah.
He's taking you out with him.
Yeah.
Update 2. I went down to management office to follow up with the manager. She said she had a meeting set for today at 1 p.m. with the resident. She immediately contacted him when I emailed her last night. But then today, he emailed her saying he could no longer make the 1 p.m. meeting and asked why he had to come down. He's in his apartment right now doing nothing. He doesn't work. Mind your business.
Mind your business. But also, this is what I like.
I have to
Don't
do
mind
that
your
too.
business. Tell me.
She
Tell
told him,
me. Don't tell management, but tell me.
yeah, she told him he's in violation of his lease. Also, is she telling this homeboy right now? Is she gossiping?
Yeah.
I love that. All right.
Wait. No, I do. I love that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So she told him he's in violation of his lease and it's best if he comes down. Apparently, he didn't reply to her. She told him that if he doesn't come down to meet with her, she's going to draft an official lease violation letter and begin the process of eviction. I was blown away. She's a great manager.
Wow.
She told me that his
I love
reaction,
that.
telling me his kids are allowed to yell and tell them to keep yelling, is the reason for how she's handling this, not purely the noise complaint. She said she's horrified and disgusted that somebody would handle the situation this way. Her and I both agreed that it was strange. She would encourage me to not speak to him and to contact management rather than just simply telling his kids shh. And appreciating I said something to him directly. I love this. Him and this little
Honestly, he
gossiper.
told you to do it.
Yeah.
He told you to go to management, so now we're here.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's this dude? Like, part of me is like, he didn't want you to get kicked out, but now this guy's being an a-hole, so
Now get kicked out with your 3 kids.
good luck.
I hope the mom left you and didn't die. You know, I was thinking she died
I did too.
at first.
I don't in update 3 because
So that's why I felt a
mother.
little bad. But now I assume she up and left your ass.
Yeah, because you suck.
And now you have 3 kids. And you deserve she deserves all the good things.
All right, update 3. After I talked with management, I saw my neighbor bring his children to their mother's house. He's been in his apartment.
Not dead.
Alone for the last few days and hasn't come out. He has all the blinds drawn. He posted the following status on social media. I am the perfect success in all areas of life. My husband follows him. Okay, no, you know what? This actually changes everything. Well, it could be a gay man. Either way, love this. My husband follows him, which is how I know this. I think he's pretending he's not home to avoid both myself and management. I don't know what to make of it, and I don't plan on getting involved.
Okay, I don't know why we went with this was a man the whole time. I'm cool if it was.
Yeah, but I assume.
But also it does change it if it was a woman. I don't know why we were on that train, but we definitely were.
I think, I mean, getting the stuff done is very woman because I do feel like maybe a stereotypical guy would be like, I don't really care.
I don't care.
But also the
I don't
tracking.
know what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why we
what
just
happened.
assumed it was a
Well,
man.
we were like,
yeah.
that was definitely okay. Well, I was honestly afraid that they were like, yeah, he went in and drew all of his blinds, and now he's. And I was like, oh my god, I was just kidding. I was just kidding.
I thought the same thing. I was like, you sent this man over the edge.
I'm so sorry. I was just making jokes. I was really worried. He's alive though.
I don't know. Because they said he posted that weird cryptic message. And why do they assume he's pretending to not be home? That doesn't mean anything. If he said, I'm at McDonald's, loving life.
He took the kids to the mom's house and then went in and drew his blinds and put a weird message on. Okay, I'm not on his team, but we need to do a wellness check. And that's not me. I'm not making jokes.
No.
I'm so for real. You need to do a wellness check on this neighbor.
Okay, I want more updates. Oh, I got so scared because I saw the word he shot himself. But someone said he shot himself in the foot by telling you to take it up with management.
Got it.
I was horrified.
Got it. I was like, oh my
Oh, okay. So
god.
OP is
shivers
in.
down my spine.
OP is in with the manager. Like they're like this.
Oh
That's why
yeah.
she's gossiping with her
They're in
because she's
cahoots.
like, someone's like, I love your apartment manager, and she said she's the best. We used to have a problem with people not picking up after their dogs, so she found a company called Poo Prints, and now each resident who has a dog is required to supply a DNA swab for Poo Prints. Any dog that doesn't get picked up is sent to Poo Prints for comparison. This used to be at one of my brother's old apartments. First strike is
That's kinda
$500.
$500?
Yeah. But also, it does make me so mad when people don't pick up dog poop. So I might be OP.
Me too.
You know what? I might be her.
You're the manager.
I'd be like, you know what? That's not enough. No, that's
We're gonna
crazy.
send DNA to Poo Prints and make them spend $500.
And I will
That's-
say, my current neighbor's kids
Wow.
do scream constantly. And my issue with it, I never know if they're hurt. It's loud, but sometimes I'm
That's-
like, are you actually being killed outside? Do I need to call someone and get you checked?
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
hard to know.
fair.
That one was hilarious.
That was very funny.
Oh, I don't have any commands. I'm so sorry. I don't know. Are you calling me a weirdo? That's okay. That's fine.
Oh, I definitely missed that.
That's
bad.
okay. No, that's so
Okay.
funny though.
I have a couple. I'm not sure if I want to keep going down the am I the asshole that they're all not assholes, or if we want one that this is a true off my chest that says I was a garbage neighbor and they deserved better.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this was not am I the asshole, but we may be able to have the opinion.
Okay.
Approximately 6 months ago, new neighbors moved into the house next door to mine. I'd like to think I'm a good, kind person, but my wife and I just never made any effort to say hello or introduce ourselves for really no good reason at all, to be honest. We were just passive, I guess. Pause. I don't introduce myself to my neighbors. Even though I just didn't. My neighbor and I, who are friends, we were just outside at the same time, and I think she started the conversation, but it just naturally went from there. I don't introduce. There are neighbors where I saw them at another thing, and we said hi, but I don't
We
really introduce myself to
did.
neighbors.
But only in the ones that we have bought the place. Our last one, I
Sure.
think we did, but I don't think it was as soon as we moved in. But this one, when we were like stopping by to see it one day, our neighbors were outside and we introduced ourselves to them because they were already out there, just to be like, oh, hey, we're the new people.
Sure.
So I guess
But
I
now
do.
it's been a few years, and it's too late.
Yeah, no, you
I can't
at
say,
this
hi, my
point.
name's... It's too late. We know each other's faces, but
Yeah. I
Not
think that's an
names. So-
older thing.
yeah. Looking at you.
I'm a grumpy old
Just
lady.
wanted to think that part is bad so far.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sometime last month, when my wife was in the backyard and one of our neighbors was in theirs, my wife finally walked over to the fence, introduced herself, and they started talking. There were the basic introductions, but it turned out our new neighbors won the U.S. visa lottery and were from Nepal. That's pretty neat, but the real kicker was that... Sorry. But the real kicker was when they said no neighbors introduced themselves at all, and they thought all their white neighbors hated them because in Nepal, villages were really close socially.
Oh.
It says, fuck me. When my wife told me that, talk about a punch in the gut. I can't believe we allowed others to feel that way. This is a lovely couple who, by the way, had to leave their 2 young kids in Nepal for the time being. We're in a new place where they thought everyone around hated them. Now, I can't change the past, but you bet your ass I wasn't going to let that feeling stand. I like to bake bread, so next morning I fired up 2 fresh loaves of my Milk Honey Special. I don't like the way that said, sorry. To drop on their doorstep. Also saw their lawn was growing high, so I pulled out the old mower and cut that shit down. Hit all their zero scraping with weed killer too, because why the hell not?
That's too much.
Yeah, I don't like that. Sorry. I don't like that at all. You went from not talking to touching all my
The
shit.
bread
Get out
was
of here.
plenty. The bread, because now it seems
The
like you're
bread
being
was-
too much.
Yeah, now it's like, I promise I'm not
We're
racist.
being passive
Is
aggressive, like your
exactly what it
grass is
feels
too
like.
tall. I'm gonna take care of everything because
Yeah.
you're incapable of doing
Yeah,
it.
you can't take care of yourself now, so I'm going to. And I'm letting you know we're not done. Um, I've now been over to their house numerous times to inspect some things they weren't familiar with, like the water heater, help replace some smoke detectors, and cut down a tree dead from beetle infestation. I also have about 40 pounds of elk in my freezer to burn through, so now they've gotten to try elk burgers and elk chili. Delicious. So, oh, he said their names. I'm not going to because I think that's weird. So to D and A, sorry, it's just their initials. I'm sorry it took 6 months to welcome you both to America properly. It definitely cemented a life lesson about how lack of action can be just as impactful to others, and I'm thoroughly enjoying talking with you more while listening to A's flute. Nepalese flute playing, and stuffing my face with D's magnificent Momo and chai. To everyone else reading this, don't be a dumb shit like my wife and I. Say hello to your neighbors. And then this is an edit. And to everyone posting about me just virtue signaling or tooting my own horn. Y'all want some chili and a beer? There's enough BS in the world right now, and if you want to vent with a full stomach, well, I'll save you a seat at the fire pit and we can drunkenly bellyache together. I'm gonna be real honest. I hate this person.
I don't like this guy.
I don't like this guy at all. I thought I was going to. After the first little bit, I don't like this person. I don't think you're being genuine.
If he would have said, I made them my milk and honey special, and then said, you should say hi to your neighbors so they don't feel isolated, the end.
Yes. Yes. Or if there are some things with the way American houses are made
Yeah.
or whatever that are different. And he said, and they asked me for help on these things. I would be more okay with instead of it was, so I brought them loaves of bread, cut their tall grass down because it looked
Dumbass.
tall, and also just weed aid or put weed killer around that because why the hell not? Hey, here's why the hell not. It's not yours.
It does feel very braggy. It's very much like, I'm
It
such a good
does.
person. I'm not like the other white people.
Exactly. I'm not racist. Is all that was
I
saying
have
to
Nepali
me.
friends.
Hey, my friends are from Nepal, and they're my friends because I did stuff for them after I didn't talk to them for 6 months. Again, you don't have to talk to your neighbors. That's also very American. You don't have to talk to your
No.
neighbors. Because the only reason he did is because they said that in Nepal, villages were like everyone was together. So he was like, "Well, I guess I'm Nepali now.
I'm not racist.
I guess I have to
approve
do
it.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not
He did
racist.
too
I'm
much.
gonna do the only reason why he did all that is because they were like, "Hey, we thought that was a little strange." He's like, "Well, I'm not strange. I'm not
You know who
strange.
I
I do
pictured?
things all the time."
I pictured the
Who?
person that we were talking about yesterday. Thumbhead ass. Oh my god. That's all I can
did
picture.
too.
I'm such a great guy,
I did
actually.
too. I did too. Too good of a person. He and no invited that person. When else?
Okay, we have to share that at our graduation, the speech that he gave.
And then I've told you this. My family thought he was confessing his love to me.
Yeah, so he was our valedictorian? No, he was something, but he gave a speech.
He was salutatorian.
So he gave a whole speech about, I don't even know, but he ends up being like, none of my experience in high school with these people matter until I met you. And he was talking to his girlfriend he'd been dating for like 2 months
He
or
was talking
something.
about his girlfriend. But me and I can't give you any of his information. How can I describe what that is? Mom has the same first name as my mom.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
We were talking because obviously,
Yeah, no, same.
during the speech where I couldn't tell you what the speech was about.
No.
And so he and I were talking and we giggled. And so when he was talking about his girlfriend, he
That's
said
right.
my name to call me out. And my whole family was like, what?
I was sitting next to D during that. And
Oh my
we
God.
were dying. We were laughing so because he made a joke at D too. Because he was like, "What?" But we were just like, "What is this dude talking about?" And he was top
But
of
then he
class.
talked about he was. That's the thing. But he also talked about inviting some teachers, and I was like, they're invited.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
This is
there.
our school. They're invited.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
that is
He's gonna be the
who-
one person
it's
that
so
listens
funny.
to us.
I know, the one who's like, I'm gonna support them, and
We're just bad mouthing
I
him.
don't know if he's a bad person, but here's my equivalent. Here's something I look at in people. Would I play dodgeball with them? The answer is no.
I don't even know how I would describe
hated
it.
playing dodgeball.
Because now that we know about spectrum and autism and everything, I don't know what I would label his social personality because it wasn't probably neurotypical. And his
No.
smile never met his eyes.
No.
You wouldn't want
can't
your
say
kids to
that.
hang out around him around a pond. You would be like, I'm uncomfortable. He wasn't weird.
You'd be like, I'm gonna ask that guy to go inside when my kids come outside. But again, he's fine.
He's not.
I'm sure he's
mean.
fine. I think he's married to the same girl that he was talking about, and I think that's great. He also has 1,000,000 degrees, by the way. He did say
Also,
that at the
it's
reunion.
just. I guess it's just someone. It's just a stereotypical guy, and I'm not being sexist. It's the guy that you know that he thinks he's so much smarter than you,
Yeah.
and it's condescending. And that's the worst kind
Yes.
of person. I'd rather you be stupid.
Whether or not he means to be.
And if you
But
think
that
we're
is the
also
person I
insufferable,
also-
keep that to yourself. That's very mean.
Yeah. Yeah. You better argue about this on your own time
'Cause
with
are we?
yourself,
Probably.
with your therapist.
Probably.
Probably.
But you
But
got to
here's
this
the
point in the
thing.
podcast. You've
Yeah.
been here an hour.
So what's that say about you?
You have bad
What's
taste.
that say about you?
Okay. All right, I got
Anyway.
my last story.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it. So we'll see because I haven't read it, obviously.
Love.
The title. Would I be the asshole to insist my neighbor keep a yard schedule? All right. For background.
It's Sam.
I don't know how long, like, I didn't expect so many to be about yard disputes or like, I mean, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yards and driveways.
Yeah.
So many were driveways too.
Yeah. For background, I have a severely reactive rescue dog. She's terrified of other dogs and freaks out majorly when she sees them or hears them. My partner and I have been working with our vet and a behavioral trainer, and we've made some progress, but my dog is still not truly comfortable anywhere but her own yard. Relate to that. Got that.
Mhm. I get it.
A new lady just moved in next door, and she has 2 big dogs. They seem like nice dogs, but they are quiet, and she works with them a lot. The problem is that she works from home full time and her dogs are always outside. She doesn't leave them there for hours or anything, but I never know when she's going to let them out or for how long. She also spends a lot of time out there with them after work and on weekends. I can hear her training and playing fetch, or she'll have them out with her while she's doing yard work. To be fair to her, she trains them and doesn't let them run up the fence, and if they do bark, she makes them go inside. They're still out on the other side of the fence, though, and my dog is now scared and reacting in her own backyard. When my dog starts carrying on, she is the one who has to go inside. She already can't enjoy walks, and now she can't even enjoy being outside. I asked my neighbor if she'd consider a schedule for the dog so that my dog can enjoy her yard too without the neighbor's dogs freaking her out on the other side of the fence. She was polite about it, but said no. She bought the house with a yard for her dogs, and they use it. She said she'd be glad to tell me when she's leaving with them for a period of hours, but otherwise she's not going to change what she's doing day to day. So nothing changed, and her dogs get plenty of outdoor time, and mine get none except for the stray times when she takes her dogs to a training class or to take both of them for a hike. I'm really upset and want to insist that we adopt a schedule so my dog can have some outside time too. Would I be the asshole if I insisted she work with me to adopt a schedule that's fair for all the dogs? We do have an edit, but what are your thoughts?
I think that I think that if OP says I kind of demand a schedule,
Mm-hmm.
you're pushing asshole. Right now, I don't think they're being the asshole, but I don't know how to get to an end result.
Right.
Does that make sense? Right now, but I also don't know if the neighbor's an asshole by
Right.
being like, that's why I bought the house,
Yeah.
so my dogs could be outside. So I don't know how to get to the end result without having to have another conversation, but by insisting that the neighbor does it, that's
Yeah.
asshole. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. How are you feeling? As a girly with an anxious dog.
That's what's hard because I know that I can't expect it from someone else to accommodate my dog. Because I
Yeah.
have a dog that she does not go on walks. She only gets to spend time outside. But I also I don't feel like I can do anything to for anyone else. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
don't know.
yeah, but also the neighbors' dogs are well trained.
Yeah.
You can't ask them to do anything else. They're just outside being
Yeah.
quiet. If they were being disturbing or running on the fence or any of those, then it's like we definitely do need a schedule because your dogs aren't respecting my dogs.
Yeah. So,
But it's like they're
right.
being good dogs. I think
So,
that's the part where it's kind of hard.
and I guess all I would do is try to be like, okay, what time does she wake up and let her dogs out and what time do they go to bed? Because I would go before and after.
Right.
That's probably what I
Yeah,
would
you
do.
have to accommodate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, edit to clarify, my dog does not get the same opportunity as her dogs, not even close. Her dogs have free access 5 days a week, weeknights and weekends. My dog only gets outside time now when she says she's leaving for a class for a hike. If I let my dog out to sun herself at 10:30 on a Tuesday, sure enough, it won't be 5 minutes before she's letting her dogs out and then my dog freaks out and has to come in. She's not getting anywhere close to what they're getting. Edit again. The fence is a privacy fence. My dog freaks out when she can hear and smell the others' dogs as well as see them. She can't see the dogs but knows they're there. Honestly, and this might be kind of shitty, if you let your dog be annoying enough, she's going to take her dogs inside anyways. As long as it's
That's
not
exactly
hurting
what I
your
was thinking.
dogs, that's what I would be doing. Force
Yeah.
your time out
Because
there.
I don't expect dogs to be quiet all the time.
No.
So it's like but what do you think she means or they mean by her dog reacts?
I'm guessing barks because Lily does that too, where
If it's just
she like.
oh, okay.
I was like, as long as the dog's not having like an episode or it seems to be stressing your dog, let your dog be annoying then.
Right. Let your
That's
dog be
my
annoying.
solution.
Who cares? Because you asked
Yep.
and she said no.
I
Let your
think if
dog
you
be annoying.
insist, I think that's going to be too much in your territory.
I
But
do too.
I still wouldn't consider OP an asshole.
If
Regardless,
they insisted.
I feel like if they're just like, and I feel like based on how they write, I feel like it would be like, can we please work out something? Or like, I guess it would
Yeah.
depend on how they approach it, but I don't feel like they're coming from a place of being an asshole regardless. Even if they insisted on it, I feel like you'd be crossing the line of being like pushy. But full blown
Yeah.
asshole, I don't know. When you're just trying to accommodate your pet.
No. I think that you asked and she said no, so it's like, well, I'm not going to keep my dog in
No.
just because another dog's outside. Let your dog be annoying. I think
Yeah.
that's fine.
And honestly, like every dog's different. They'll get used to it. They'll get over it
Yeah.
eventually.
By making them be so separate all the time, they're never going to get used to each other. It's never going to be a comfortable situation. I am not a dog owner. But do your dogs like become friends with other neighborhood dogs after seeing and smelling them so often?
No.
No.
No,
Oh,
they
okay, well,
just
never
kind
mind.
of, but I mean, like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And so I just think if the
Right.
lady's not willing to work with you, then yeah, like we said, just let your dog be free.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would insist. I think don't insist again. You did it once. She said
Yeah,
no.
leave
Let
it
your
alone.
dog be annoying.
And
Let it
her
go.
letting you know when she leaves is pretty nice of her too.
I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the
the other times let the dog
Yeah.
out, and then also extra time when the dogs are gone.
Yep.
That's bonus time.
So the overall vote is that OP's the asshole. This was the one I could find that was an
Interesting.
asshole.
Okay.
Because people are just like, I can't believe anyone would expect someone to schedule their life around their needs. Um, and then people are like, you asking her to restrict her own usage. I don't feel like OP did anything that was asshole-ish. I think it was a solution
I
she
don't.
thought of. It didn't work out.
Yep. I do too. But also that's where I'm like, okay, don't do it again.
Yeah, no, leave it as what it is. She gave your
tried it
answer.
once, leave it alone. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you don't know unless you ask. I think she genuinely was just asking.
Yeah.
Like they were just asking at first, and now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Next. On to the next.
Yeah, so that one was kind of surprising. I wish it was a better, like, you're the asshole, but, you know, it is what it is. That's all we get from
Yeah.
it.
Okay, I want one to kind of be I want it to kind of be funny.
Okay.
And I think that this one is gonna be kind of weird. I have a couple, but I'm swapping. Okay, you can choose. Am I the asshole for frightening a snooping neighbor by opening my door and causing her to fall? Or
Okay.
am I the asshole for laughing at my neighbor and calling them stupid before closing the door on them?
The first one. The snooping, I love snoopers.
Me too.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm this girl.
Oh, 100%.
I'm looking out those blinds. I'm not gonna be at someone's house, but I am anytime like something's happening outside, I'm looking out those blinds.
Oh, yeah, I'm nosy.
There was a really funny moment where something happened outside, and me and both of my cats like at the same time went like we were all so interested. It runs in the family.
Yeah, I have my little nosy neighbor patrol behind me right now.
Yes. It's so fun. Okay. Again, am I the asshole for frightening a snooping neighbor by opening my door and causing her to fall? New to Reddit, I got 2 new Redditors.
Wow.
Please forgive mistakes. Wow.
Is this guy again?
No, but I'm going to read what this says. 337 female. So I don't know.
Wow.
I
She's a
assume
witch.
it's just 37. Wow, witch. You go witch.
Yep.
New to Reddit. Wow.
Yeah.
You should have been on here at the beginning. Okay. I assume 37 female, live alone in a pet-friendly, no breed restriction apartment building, renting, in a U.S. city that has significant crime. Our building has 2 on the first floor and 2 on the second floor, 1 on the third. I live on the 3rd floor. I don't share a landing with any of my neighbors, and anyone coming up to the 3rd floor is coming there for me. We do not have a secured gate or a front door to the building. I have a 40-pound dog, not aggressive in the slightest, does not have leash aggression, does not resource guard. I don't know what these things are. So that's why I'm having a hard. I don't know what those.
Resource guard is like a dog would attack another dog over a toy. Like they are like guarding it from the other one or food,
Got it.
stuff like that.
Okay, got it. So non-aggressive dog. Great. She does have one guarding tendency, and due to where I live alone, I fostered this. She will bark at the door when someone is outside. Sure, that makes sense. She is part hunting hound, so she has a very big vocal howl bark. I've always found this comforting because I will always know if someone is coming when I am not expecting anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will come up to lurk on my landing who have no business being there, and my dog will scare them away. She also lets me know when deliveries have been dropped off. A downstairs neighbor, 45 to 50 female, from the first floor, has been up on my landing several times. She will sometimes bring up packages or mail if it's left downstairs, which is nice, but I've seen her through the peephole lurking around without anything to leave for me. One time she moved my doormat. She has seen me walking my dog several times. Outside of my apartment, my dog is all wags. She's asked several times where my other aggressive dog is because she's been up to my landing and heard my dog's big barks. I've told her each time that I only have one dog and that she just sounds like aggressive at the door. She hasn't stopped asking about my other dog, though. Last week, my property manager emailed about reports that I may have two dogs, which is fine, just to let them know that they want to know how many animals are in the building. I wonder how they get this report. Today, my neighbor was on my landing again. From my peephole, I saw her bending down in front of my door, but couldn't tell what she was doing. So I swung my door open with my dog standing beside me, loudly barking. She got spooked from the noise and fell on her ass. Because she was leaning down to look under my doormat again, I said, "See, just one dog, like I told you." Then I realized she may have injured herself when she fell and offered to help her up, but she just stormed off, calling me an asshole and a bitch. Said that building was better before I moved in. I've lived here for 5 years. This is the first time having this issue. My sister told me I'm an asshole because I could have given the woman a heart attack by frightening her. I kind of see her point. However, I did not know she was going to fall over. I still do not know what she was doing on my landing. Other tenants have dogs too, and you can hear all the dogs barking anytime a delivery car pulls up. I always considered it the price of a pet-friendly apartment.
I mean, not even close. Also, what is with that age range of women being so snoopy? That's who I pictured.
Oh, same. Also, looking under your door. Moving the doormat first kind of freaked me out, but she was looking under the
For a
doormat.
key. Clearly for a key.
For a key. Absolutely for a key.
No, that woman's... And honestly, next time she says you have an aggressive dog, be like, yeah, I do have an aggressive dog.
I do have an aggressive dog. It barks anytime someone's looking under my doormat.
No, you're not at all. If that lady had a heart attack because you startled her by opening a door for her snooping, that's on her.
Absolutely.
That's insane.
I couldn't agree more.
We need to do an episode on snoopers. I love it.
I love snooping. I love being nosy. I love snooping. That's why I love the job I have. My job is to snoop, and I think it's a great time.
I love snooping. My job also involves being a little snoopy snoop. I love it. I love being in people's business. It's so fun.
Me too. Yeah, and then remember last week. Oh, also apologies everyone. We were not here last week. I was on a business thing and I could not make it work. But the week all the glitter was everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not quite that bad. But also I get it.
I did talk to Sam about that one because I could not get that story out of my head. And he said, he's like, well, I guess I don't understand if they were locking the door. Why did they change solutions? He's like, why did they go about? He's like, they should have just left it with the door locked. And then when they heard her change the door, they could have been like, what are you doing? Key. Oh, that's right.
They couldn't find the key.
They couldn't find the key. I forgot.
Because she only comes over like 2 times a year, apparently, but they put a lock on their doors. No, I still can't get over that story.
That one's so wild. I want to know what she's looking for.
Me too. I still don't know. Yeah. I'm still curious. But wish them all the best.
Oh, I love a good snoop. You know what? We're going to put that in the poll. It's getting voted by 2 voters.
It's going to get voted by 2 voters, at least, unless someone else also votes.
Don't vote against us, though.
The winner of the poll wins.
Yep. So, no, I love
unless
that one.
Unless we vote for the wrong thing. Snooping's so good.
She needs, and I know
that should absolutely be a topic.
She needs to get a Ring doorbell. I know that's kind of expensive. She needs to get something to take to management, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because then I would be like, this lady is looking under my door. This lady's being a real weirdo.
And this place was better before you got here. I've been here 5 years. That's wild. She didn't just show up. I think it's so weird. Ugh. I loved that for her and honestly love it for the old lady too.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Well deserved.
I hope you did hurt your butt. I hope you hurt your tailbone because those stay around and that's what you get. And then you can think about next time you try to snoop, I don't want my butt to hurt.
Exactly. But I also like that she was like, no, just one dog. One dog. and she's barking her head off. But yeah, just one dog.
Mm.
God, it's so funny.
Because I'd be
Well
like, why are you so
deserved.
curious about an aggressive dog? You trying to rob me? Trying to scope out my place?
Right. Oh, people. Now, I'm nosy and keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Or keep it
No, I'm
between
not
us.
harassing other people. I'm
I
nosy,
will-
like, I watch what's going on outside when people are outside.
Yes. And then when my neighbor, who's kind of annoying upstairs, something happens, we can talk about it because we have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching
That's
that.
what it's
I'm not
for.
going to other people's house and snooping through their stuff. That's weird.
No.
Am I walking by your
No.
house and looking to see what's going on with you? 100%. But I'm not approaching. I'm
Yeah.
within my rights of what I'm doing. Not encroaching
Absolutely.
on someone because that's weird.
That is weird. There's a difference between
There's
like
a
being
limit.
like nosy and being like uncomfortably uncomfortable.
Personal, yeah, going through people's personal stuff. Like if you go and are like house sitting for someone, going through their stuff, that's weird.
That is weird. Oh, I've never even thought about that.
Yeah.
But I don't like people just like meandering in my house either. I'm
No,
like,
I don't
what are you
like
doing?
that. And I know that
Like,
like,
I'm
I see
looking
on
for a cup. I'm like, I'll get it.
like TikTok people being like, go through your man's phone. That's crazy. You don't need to be doing that.
No, I did when it was time to go through the phone.
Yeah.
When it was
You're done.
very
at that
much, I
point.
was like, yeah. I was like, oh, we're going through that. You just hid that. I'm looking through that when you're
Yeah,
asleep.
because I was watching
And I
a
did,
show
and
where. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I did, and then that was that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, if you're going through the phone, you have to acknowledge that you're done with the relationship. If you're
Agreed.
reaching that point, you're
Agreed.
probably done. Because there was a show where it was showing like she stayed over the night with the guy, and then she like went through his stuff, and I was like, that's not normal behavior.
I don't like that.
I don't
like
do
that.
that.
I don't either. In the same night that I saw the phone is when I snooped because something was weird.
Yep.
And it was all together and it all happened at the same time. And then she showed up
Yeah.
at the door the next morning. Fun. I
Yeah.
gave her lotion that she left because I snooped.
That's fine when
Love.
it's at that point. But yeah, just standard snooping
Yeah.
on people's stuff. Don't do that. Just
that's
be a
weird.
nosy neighbor. But that's it.
Please. Just do
Listen
that.
in at restaurants. Do that.
I
Love doing that.
love listening.
I am in their business.
Me too. I love listening in at restaurants.
100%.
And here's the thing, because I love it, I know people are listening to my
Yeah.
conversations, and I'm fine with that.
And that's why we say offensive
I hope
stuff
they enjoy it.
so that they don't listen.
I'll say it, and I'm like, I hope they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They're gonna hear a lot.
Okay. Well, that was a good one.
Okay. That was
This
that
episode
was
will
2
be
hours.
out sometime. I know. It'll be out maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. I don't know
Maybe
yet.
tomorrow.
We'll see when I get around. I won't be home
Yeah.
to edit it tomorrow, but sometime.
At some point, and that's all we can do.
Yep. So that was Oops All Opinions. I'm Relax. That's that one chick. And if you have issues with what we said today, what can they do with themselves?
You can't say what can they do with themselves.
They're free to do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want, but also, please, argue with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Argue with yourselves. Argue with your mom. Argue with your therapist. Argue with your state representative.
Go yell at your neighbors. Yell at your neighbors' kids.
Go yell at your neighbors. Go scream in the hallways, and then do that for a couple months until someone leaves a note on your door, goes to Reddit, and then they immediately take it off because that's something that really happens in this world, and I think that's crazy.
Honestly,
Let me, as people who are reading Reddit stories,
please go
it
complain about us
surprises me
there.
every time that happens.
You can go argue about our opinions on there. That'd be so funny.
Oh, please.
That'd be hilarious.
Please do that. I would love to do that. I would love for you to do that. Argue with yourself and argue with Reddit.
Yep.
To
that.
us.
Yep.
Love.
Well, we'll catch you next time, sometime, probably Wednesdays. You'll see us sometime.
I think we're going to be live Wednesdays and then out whenever.
Yeah.
Is what we've swapped to.
Yep. So, thanks for listening. Yeah. Au revoir.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't even have the button up to stop this thing. Bye.